Yeah, I've got this
Yeah.
woman that's hiding in my computer that says recording in progress. So I don't know where she's hiding in the computer, but she's there. But anyway, Patrick, you had mentioned something, and I noticed this, that you've got the EPA notification concerning radon. Tell us about that. You're having your client sign off on that.
It's just the radon guide that I pulled off of online somewhere, a PDF booklet. I just have them initial the first page. Same with the lead-based paint brochure. Have them initial the first page just to show that they've received it. And then when I save it into the file, I save it in .loop. I don't save it in IA because it's not required or asked of there, but I've got it somewhere where the first page only, so I don't take up a ton of space on my computer, but they've just, it's noted that they've, received that, acknowledged that. So better than just talking about it, because then they'll forget about it and then something goes wrong. And yeah, so.
Yeah, the snag on IA is, it's set up basically on state level for what are the required documents, and things can vary so much across the silly state. It varies between here and Dayton, and we use the same purchase contract. So you throw in north of that, getting into Lima and the RIST system, Columbus, Cleveland, and then you get out in other areas and they've got different practices. So the place markers in IntelliAgent aren't all inclusive, and I appreciate you adding those in. Bottom line is anything that a client signs, stick it in IA. Failed contracts. And the thing on failed contracts, lump them all together. You don't have to submit a separate file for each unaccepted purchase contract.
Okay.
And you just lump them all together and upload them as a single. And you can upload, let me get my tang untangled here. In IA, you click on the little plus sign next to documents, and it'll open up and you tell it what title you want. And then you can upload each PDF for each of the offers that were rejected, and then just click add all, add all, add all, add all. And that way it's just done all at one time.
But so then the transactions, can we archive transactions so we're not seeing all the old transactions?
When you're looking at your transactions, there's a filter to the right at the top that you can just say active.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a filter function that's there for that.
Great.
Yeah, so I guess my next question with all that is, there's going to be clients that write offers, don't get anything accepted, and then they kind of disappear. So is there a point at which we terminate that transaction, or how do we handle that?
Yeah, if the buyer has gone bye-bye, you just go in and the short termination process, and that way it cleans it up. I've got one where I was supposed to get a referral fee from American Homes for Rent, and I've got to follow that up. That's sitting there open, and after a while, accounting will come after us and say, what's the score with this one? So,
yeah. Oh, one more
so
thing. Go ahead, Josh.
I'm just going to tell you, the Harveys expired, and then they didn't approve them when they tried to get it pre-approved again.
Oh,
so,
really?
Yeah, she was supposed to try to show them, call them or get a hold of somebody and show them that they've got more income than even they told them before.
Yeah.
But I don't know if she's doing it or not. So been trying to encourage her towards it, but then she goes days and then follows up with a text message for a question I asked. So I don't know.
Sorry, man.
Well, don't say sorry. I mean, it was an opportunity to make some money, but it was a weird one. Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, Patrick, that's a good idea about the EPA radon thing. If you can send me a PDF of that, I can upload it to the resource section on IA, so that we've all got access to that. And it used to be once upon a time before the digital programs came about, and what we've got access to in IA is the lead-based paint pamphlets. Brokerages had to buy those things, and they aren't cheap. I think that's how they're helping to address the national deficit. on the prices that they have on those things.
So that's where my split goes. Okay, cool.
Yes. So now that we can just send a PDF and have them initial off on it, it really makes life a whole lot less expensive and a whole lot easier. So if you'd send that through, I'll get that uploaded to the resource section in IA, and we'll have access to that. A note about home inspectors in the state of Ohio. They are going to have to be licensed with the state starting July the 1st.
Okay.
So, and the trick on that is it's not the company that's being licensed, but the individual inspector that is licensed. So that might be something just to double check, asking, is the inspector licensed with the state? If they're doing an official inspection of being paid as a third party, then that's a necessity now, starting July the 1st. One of the things that I wanted to talk about and bounce around a little bit is as far as a community project. There is Carrie Eigel up in Columbus is got, Columbus agents working on one up there dealing with some clients that had bought a house and, a month or two after they moved in, found out that he has stage 3 cancer and is undergoing chemo, and they can't take care of the house. So they're doing a work project around the house. But anything that we can do as a give back to the community, I wanted to get those gears cranking, grease the gears a little bit, and check about what ideas, something that we can do as agents here in Greater Cincinnati. So get your thinking caps on, polish up your glasses, and look around. We have done. It was a couple years ago. There was an event called All About Deaf Kids that was held at Cincinnati State. And, we sponsored a table there for that event. So, anything. It doesn't have to necessarily be working on a house, which I think most people would appreciate me not working on their house. So, by all means, you come across an idea, shoot it through. It can be a food drive. It can be really just about anything and everything. Is something that we can give back to the community in general. So, talked about FHA, VA. Be careful on listings. It used to be practice that, if the house was in rougher condition, the agent would put an agent notes, no VA, FHA.
Right.
Don't do that anymore. Again, going back with how the appraisals are being handled now, it's sort of a moot point. So, and it could be seen as trying to discourage a class of buyers, which won't fly.
Right. Yeah.
So, all right. I want to share something.
Okay.
I'm going to share my screen. That's something I'm going to share. Just share it all, and it makes it easier to get to where I want to be. Yay! Bring this down a little bit. Came across a review of what the NAR puts out every year. Looks back at the year previous and asks, where did buyers come from? What were the buying trends? Where did sellers come from? What were the selling trends? And then Risk Media did a nice little thing. I think they should call it NAR 2020 Report for Dummies. It made it a lot easier to follow. And on this, what I did is highlighted several sections. Can you see the screen all right?
Yes.
Not on the phone.
Josh, I'm hoping you're not seeing the screen well. You're driving.
No.
I'll verbalize and I'll create a PDF of this and shoot it out as well. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, Josh, can you see the screen? Yeah. Boom. Okay. No.
Boom. Yeah. No.
All right. So they started off with home buying. It was interesting. The number of first-time buyers, even with the interest rates dropping down, the number of first-time buyers diminished a little bit from 33 to 31%. So I found that sort of an interesting track. Wasn't a big adjustment, but it just surprised me. I thought it was going to go the other direction with all the competition in what I would have considered the first-time homes. But the numbers from 2020 show that the number of purchases percentage-wise dropped. And this next theme is highlighted in green. 12% made the decision to move into a multi-generational home with the intention of saving money. This we're going to come back to with home sellers as well, and is going to be more or less the big aha for the entire report. But it's interesting. Multi-generational homes have become more in vogue. And here it's saying that it was with the intent of saving money. Families getting together. You see this in other cultures, like in China, you'll see 3-4 generations living in a 3-bedroom apartment. So, it's interesting to see this growing as a trend in the U.S. Whether it's aging family members or children that are moving back, multi-generational homes are on the increase. 57% of buyers after the appearance of COVID-19 chose to move to a suburban location, compared with 51% pre-COVID. And this is something we've talked about before, with workplaces allowing virtual offices and employees to work from home. This is going to be a continuing trend. And I think my definition is another part of the one big aha out of this whole report. So we've got 12% moving to multi-generational homes to save money, and 57% going to the burbs instead of more of the urban setting. And then 43% of buyers initially started searching for listings online. Does that sound low to you?
Yeah,
what percentage is that?
43.
43.
No, that's way too low.
That's
Where
like
are the other 50% looking?
That's like 1995 numbers there.
Yeah.
18% started by contacting a real estate directly. So that impacts it. The people knew who to call before they even started looking online.
Okay.
I mean, how many people
looked
report
online?
that? I mean, geez.
So
yeah, that seems crazy.
There's got to be more behind that stat. 88% of buyers ended up purchasing a home through a real estate agent. 55% said that they valued the agent's ability to help them find the right home above all. Now, again, this stat sort of surprises me.
Yeah.
I expected this one to be higher. Overall satisfaction with agents is very high, but when they said 55% said that they valued an agent's ability to help them find the right home above all, that's low. I
don't think that's low, Jim. I think the reason we think that's low is because the three of us surround ourselves with other good agents. But what my experience is that we are in the 55%.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
now, does above all mean like that's the thing that they value the most about their agent, or what does that mean?
I'm taking it as that's the number one thing that they were looking at their agent. It could also mean above any other source.
Right.
So that's the way I took it, above any other source. Like their agent actually provided a good reason for, helping them find homes, not just being a door opener. And I think that very well, there could be at least 30% out there that are just door openers.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's a frustrating part. How many times have we worked with a buyer who said the other agent that I was there, I had to do all my own searching and had to ask to go see houses.
Yeah.
My thing that I picked up during this COVID thing is it's very easy to drop to that. We're made mostly of water, and water seeks the path of least resistance.
Right.
Yeah.
So what I started doing to help encourage the connection with my buyer clients is I include myself on those home searches. So as they're being notified, I'm getting the same notification. And if it looks like something that they might be interested in, I'm doing one of two things or both. One is I'm getting an appointment set up before I even talk to them, because I can always cancel it if they're not interested, in letting them know that I set it up. The other thing is I'll forward that same email that they would have otherwise been getting that was copied to me, and saying, I noticed this house had this, this, and this, but doesn't have this. on their importance checklist. In other words, I'm trying to maintain a dialogue. So, in the internet age, it's very easy to get lazy, and got to stay in communication. You develop a relationship, don't lose it, kind of a thing.
I also try to tell people, like, when I'm after like the first showing or something, and we're just kind of getting to know each other and how the search is going to go. I tell them, if you want me to like curate a list of houses to see, like, I'll do that. But most people prefer that I set up their custom criteria, and then we stay in touch about what you want to change, about that as we go along. But I think it's always best if you, the buyer, looks through looks through the pictures and decides what you like, rather than me forcing you to like something, or you feeling obligated to see it because I suggested it. So I'm willing to do it either way, but this is what I find is best. So at least, like, it ends up being, in most cases for me, admittedly, like, I set them up and they just kind of tell me when they want to see something. So it's at least that's them choosing to do that. And then it's also like setting the expectation that if that's what they want, that's how it's going to be. Of course, I'm available, but I'm not going to force them to go see something.
Right.
It doesn't mean I'm absent from the process, but I try to, because I know I even sometimes even say, if I feel like they're casual people and wouldn't, mind hearing it, I said, sometimes I get new clients that say their previous agent didn't help them find house, and I feel like this is probably how this happens. So I just kind of get that out there and say, like, I don't want to be that person that you feel like it's not helping you, but here's the two options we have.
Even with that situation, Patrick, I'd still encourage a proactive reach out from time to time.
Yeah.
Which you've got that on your dock anyway. If someone says, I don't like being bothered, well, the last thing you want to do is ride their case. So,
right.
Sure.
Be sensitive to that.
But a text message with, hey, I saw, whatever address or whatever. What did you think? Even that alone is just touching base.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's usually not obtrusive.
Yep.
So,
I found with the MLS prospect thing or the auto cart, whatever it's called, like, I had to set that up so that I would get it too, because like right in a row, I had two clients that would just call me and say, oh, I like that one you just emailed me.
Yes.
And I'm like,
which one? What are you talking about?
I'm like, what was the address again? Yeah.
Yeah, you can wash your socks real fast by sticking your feet in your mouth sometimes. I've been there, done that.
Yeah.
So, and I've started, when that has happened a few times, I started explaining to them and said, hey, I have you plugged into a search that sort of shirt tails my access to the MLS, and I'm having you notified at the same time that I'm notified. So it is, yes, it's an automatic, but I've got it set up so that, we're being notified at the same time. So they're automatic, but I'm watching what's going on. But, if you see something in that search, by all means, throw a rock at me, because I might have missed it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But this is not surprising. 77% of buyers interviewed only one agent. So in my book, that says when you get a lead, jump on it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of leads that are just in the process of shaking the trees to see what information there is about houses, and they might not buy for 3 years. But those that do, 77% of them interviewed only one agent. And
so if it's only one agent, is it really an interview?
Yeah, that's a good question. It is from the viewpoint, if they weren't happy with what they heard, they would be on the next.
Yeah.
But, the majority of leads don't pan out. Vast majority of leads don't pan out, but those that do, it's 77% of them.
Yeah, along those lines, just real quick, there was a marketer I was listening to the other day it's kind of an elementary point, but one worth reviewing, is like talking about, the churning of leads, and this one's good and this one's bad and yada, yada, yada. And he's like, these are people. Okay. These are relationships. These are not leads. So when they're not ready right now doesn't mean you never talk to them again, or you throw them away, or you assume they're not motivated. They're just not ready yet. And that's why they're not answering your calls and your emails, because it's not top of mind. He's like, think about all the ads, and you probably get whether it's TV or print ads about furniture. Like, you don't care at all for years, and then all of a sudden you see a million of them. Well, that's because they're always there.
Yeah.
You just never paid attention because you weren't trying to buy furniture. He's like, it's the same thing, which is obvious, but it's just worth repeating, I think, because we all look at like, this lead was good, this was bad, this lead source is good, this is bad. It's like, no, you just need to expand your sphere and work your sphere both at the same time, which means bringing strangers into your fold and just keeping in front of them, with educational content, or just be helpful in general, whether it's real estate related or just as a friend or whatever.
Right.
Nothing earth shattering, but I think it's I get caught up in that sometimes too, especially with Zillow stuff, where it's like, okay, this one sucks, and it's like, let's move on to the next one. It's like, no, that's a person that reached out about real estate, so maybe at some point they'll be ready.
Yeah,
That.
They would not have invested their time to sign up as a potential lead if there wasn't some measure of interest.
Right. Sometimes they have an agent, they didn't realize what the process was, but they're still a buyer, so anyway.
I had, on my personal side, I had someone sign up to get information about Legendary Run, and they put their agent's email in there.
There you go. It's like, okay, guys.
Oh my goodness, why didn't I think of that sooner? Give my email to all of my clients, and if they go to a site that requires them to sign in, put my email in there.
Yeah, that way I can get all of that.
That is clever.
Perfect.
Hi, Saucy.
Hey, Jim.
Hey, good to have you on board. Yes, we already volunteered you for everything, my man. All right.
Sorry, running late.
That is all right. Glad to have you. And this does not surprise me. 91% of home buyers said they would use or work with their agent again or recommend them. And, this was sort of a kick in the backside. 91% would use me again. So what percentage of my business is repeat and referral?
Mm-hmm.
So, again, there's different ways of building business, and some agents don't have any repeat and referral. They've got a different route running, and that's fine. But I'm also thinking, I spent all of this time building a relationship with these folks. I had better have a system in place if I really want to keep growing my business. I can add more people in, but I've got a precious commodity there. If 91% are going to use that agent again, or use me again, or even more importantly, recommend me, I need to invest something to keep that relationship alive and not lose it. And it's got to be a system. It can't be something that takes up my entire day. I came across the definition of a system is save yourself time, energy, and money.
There you go.
Caustic. Yeah, we're going to come back to that again. So we just spent some time talking about, the referral base, building a referral base, but 91% is an astounding percentage. And how many people actually go back and reuse the same agent again? Not that many. They can't remember who they are.
That's the thing, is they'll use you if they know who you are and they have your information. I've gotten several clients over the years, literally the cheesy refrigerator magnet. They're like, yeah, you're on my refrigerator. I'm like, okay, that actually worked. Sweet. So,
I might be able to sell my refrigerator magnets to people that are on a diet as an appetite suppressant.
Right.
I sell mine to help keep the mice away.
Yeah.
They could use that in Australia right now. Have you seen that they've got a plague of mice over there?
Really?
Southeastern part, millions and millions of mice.
They've always got weird animals, though.
Yeah, these are mice brought in by the English that have been there for generations. They had a bumper crop, and mice have destroyed it. There's so many mice, they've destroyed the crop.
Wow.
It's disgusting to see those videos. The ground is moving. Yeah, anyway. On the home
That's a
seller,
shame.
yeah.
Looks like they need more snakes.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that idea later. All right. The home buyer, 77% of home sellers decided to work with the first agent they talked with. Again, it goes back to you get that lead, stick with it like ugly on an 8. Let's see here. The blue one, 27% of sellers use virtual tours to market their homes compared to 16% pre-pandemic. So, I mean, virtual tours became much more important to home sellers because they didn't want people bringing cooties into their home, which, can understand and appreciate that. So, is that a potential tool in trying to reach out to potential home sellers? We're not as concerned about COVID now. A lot of people have just basically said goodbye to any concerns and restrictions. However, will that lack of concern completely disappear from the home seller's mindset? And can that be used as a pre-listing tool to get attention of potential home sellers? I help keep unnecessary exposure out of your home by using the following tools, video tools, things to that extent. And then the most common reason sellers gave for moving, and here it comes, and this is going to come into play again. They wanted to move closer to family, with 15% stating this reason. Others stated, here it is, all right, that their current home was too small.
No.
All right, is that new? No, that is not new. But is there anything that has changed over the past year that would contribute to making the home too small for the needs of the family? Is there anything added?
The need for a home office and the need for a classroom in the same space, right?
Yeah.
Now, going forward, it's only in a home office, hopefully, but yeah.
Right.
I think the K-12 internet program is going to, Patrick, I think that's going to see an uptick.
Yeah, for sure.
There's enough kids that got plugged into that thrived with it, that parents are going to hold on to it. Is it going to become the major way of doing education? No, because parents want the kids out the door. Where's that school bus? But primarily the home office, and then secondarily kids home doing school at home.
Right.
And so that's going to figure into our final aha. This is interesting. I was not expecting this. FSBOs, those who chose to sell their home on their own, saw a significantly smaller return at a median of $217,900, while those who listed with an agent saw $242,300.
Wow.
So that is
commission and more.
$25,000 average median more.
10 more than what's that? 14%, 13%.
I'm math impaired, Josh. Come on, don't do that to me. So key takeaways. Talking about, the number of agents typically interviewed, 77% went with the first agent they talked with. Online portals, social media, other internet platforms becoming very, very important, more so as time goes by, and how you're representing yourself online. The key thought is, okay, what are buyers looking for? They're looking to move to the burbs, and they need space. Some of them to be closer to family, some of them need a larger home because of home office, some of them because kids schooling at home, and there's a combination of things. So take that in consideration when looking at potential buyers and marketing online. Be there, but again, those are the key things that the buyers, and then also what sellers are looking for. Online ways of promoting their home that they will be able to get the exposure, but buyers that aren't going to work out, They don't need to be tromping through their home bringing their cooties. So how can that be taken advantage of in the marketing? Always remember to ask clients for recommendations and referrals. Why? Why? It builds business, but why should we not be afraid of doing that? Because 91% said they would use and or recommend the client or the agent that they use to buy their home. Huge majority of people are happy to recommend us. So we need to get over that bashfulness. We're not asking them to do something they don't want to do.
Right.
They're glad to do it. And, you know, talking about niches or niches, depending upon where you're from, if it's niche or niche.
Niche.
Oh, there's a third way. Thanks, Josh. All right. Since families seem to be looking for multi-generational homes or have more family members moving in with them, this may be a strong area to pursue. Additionally, as working from home becomes the norm for many companies, more buyers are looking to move to suburban areas. Key word, it should be singular, not word. Oh, that's a colon. Key word, colon, space. All right, that is the big aha, space. Whether it's buyers or sellers, there's a reason why sellers are rooting themselves and their family out of where they are. And it comes back to, for many of them, is this word, space. Between family, work, kids doing school at home, space is becoming more important. At one point with baby boomers, very, very recently, we were talking about a niche being downsizing. And the general trend right now is the opposite. It isn't saying baby boomers are going to want to downsize, but the big trend seems to be around this word of space and increasing it. So rather interesting report. And the takeaways on that, you know, as far as response, the number of people that are, oh, Josh is back, just about. Did you go through a dead zone, bro?
I think I accidentally hit the button.
Hey, you're not supposed to be looking at your phone and playing with it while you're driving.
I'm in a parking lot now. We're good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, I'll be sending out a copy of this. Big aha is space, but the other thing is it's the number of people that are, whether they're buying or they're selling, one agent. And it's becoming more and more important to pick that up. One picture I want to show you. This is something I got in the mail. It was a postcard, and it said, "Be the first to know about new listings you won't find on other sites." I don't know if you ever heard of Home Shake, but do you know what that is? For sale by owners.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
The FSBO site. And I thought, man, that's a clever little advertising scheme. It makes it sound like you're going to find what you usually would have found elsewhere, plus more. And that's a lie. You're only going to be finding FSBOs. So, you know, it's interesting. For sale by owners that has not really done, according to NAR stats, as much of a uptick as I would have thought. But you've got some ammo in dealing with that, with the median sales prices being what they are for sale by owners versus agent assisted. So, all right. I'm getting this wrapped up. July the 6th is our next get together. That's a Zoom meeting, and it's going to be our roundtable. And I'm going to flip this. All right. We've been working our way through David Knox's 10-week listing course. And the last time what we did was dealing with referrals, and a lot of that dealt with our sphere of influence and working with them. I'm going to jump over FSBOs because we talked about FSBOs and expireds recently, and I want to do something that I will be blatantly, nastily straightforward with. I don't do very good with open houses, so this is something perhaps I need to stop and look at. When you go log in through Fathom Wiki, log in to David Knox, on the left column where it's subjects, come down to 10-week listing course. Week 3B is open houses. And there's two areas. There's, well, three. There's the general open house information, but then he's got a section dealing with virtual open houses. And then at the bottom, after the virtual open houses, he talks about how a new agent got his career up and running really fast by using open houses. And that's a two-part interview. So, you know, we're not going to have individual agents grabbing it and making separate reports, but go through a couple of these videos, 2 or 3 videos, make some notes, and then we'll compare our thoughts on the 6th of July, 2 days after the 4th, at our first Tuesday of the month mastermind meeting, and just have it as a roundtable. And then July the 20th, 2 weeks after that, we stand a real possibility of seeing an increase of short sales. Are we going to see a large amount of short sales? Probably not. However, short sales are going to be there, and there are some things with training and certification that I've been through in the last blast back at the end of 08, 09, going into 2010, that deals with how to work with short sales, both on the listing side as well as on the selling side. There's an educational process that needs to be there for buyers, and then do's and don'ts on the listing side. So next month's face-to-face or Zoom that we end up doing, I'm hoping we get some more face-to-face times and just see how it best works for everyone. That's the direction we're going to be running. So, all right, questions, observations, thoughts, ideas. Any comments about my bald spot or anything else?
Well, I'll pass on
point,
the first one, but I had one thing I made a note of. We were kind of passed over was you were talking about a referral or something. It reminded me I'm doing the closed on the first part of this Easy Knock deal, which is part of the Fathom offers thing.
Yep.
So if you guys look into that, you'll see like Bridge Solution. If you click on the providers, the only one that I saw was Easy Knock. So if you're interested in that, basically if you have a seller that wants to buy but can't buy without being contingent on selling, you can propose this where they buy the client's house. They give them 75% of the appraised value when they buy it. Then that erases their mortgage debt, gives them some cash, and they can lease it back from Easy Knock month to month for up to like a year and a half. And then they can shop for their next house with no mortgage debt, with no contingency of selling. They've got more cash. And so then they're able to buy without that contingency on their offer. And then they can move out at their convenience. So then they sell it again on the open market with you as the listing agent, and they get the rest, whether that's 25% or more, whatever's left. So Easy Knock gets a fee up front and they get rent, but it's not crazy. But the reason I mention it is part of their process is when Easy Knock buys the house from your client, they give you a 1% referral fee. So basically to keep you on the hook, to get you some interest in the process, because it's a longer process. So they give you a 1% of the appraised value up front. So I learned from Fathom that fee does go through the brokerage, but it's treated differently than a commission. It's a lower fee. Do you know what that fee is offhand, Jim? I didn't look it up for a referdoll.
I am thinking it's like $80, $85, something to that extent.
Something
I
like that.
Pull it up. They might be treating it as doing a BPO, broker
Right.
price opinion.
So it's considered a referral, so it's a cheaper thing. Anyway, so look into that if you haven't. If you got people that are trying to buy and sell at the same time, I can share whatever info you need on it. But we actually successfully closed on their sale. They got 30 grand more out of their appraisal than they thought. And they're thrilled with it. They think it's the coolest thing ever. Like I'm the smartest guy on the planet. Of course, it wasn't my idea. But anyway.
Use the tool.
Yeah, so there you go.
Like a
That's
doctor
cool.
going into surgery. The doctor didn't create the surgical tools, but he learned how to use them.
That's
Yeah.
correct.
Good one. Yeah, I wouldn't mind in one of our masterminds or something, just talking about referral conversations for recruiting new agents.
Mhm.
I mean, for me, you know, talking to some of my old Keller Williams buddies, it's just really easy to say $20,000 a year. Like, what if I just gave you 60 grand? Would you take 60 grand?
Yeah.
And, you know, well, over 3 years, that's what the difference is.
Mhm.
So,
And one of the other things, and I'm working on developing this for use myself, is the concept of being an owner and just
Yeah.
asking agents, are you as an agent happy with being a renter? And basically, you know, 99% of the brokerages are set up that way. Agents are simply renters at the brokerage that they're at. They are not owners. So they're not getting ownership interest like we are with every transaction. So do you want to be a renter as an agent? Do you want to be an owner as an agent?
Mhm.
And oh, by the way, you get to keep the bulk of your own commissions. You find the business, you get to keep your commissions. What a
Right.
novel idea.
Right.
So, yeah. Hi, I haven't seen you in a while. All right, y'all. I'm going to wrap this up and let's see here. Moment. Let me end the recording. Stop.
I did have